Stand by, folks. We'll be starting here shortly. Give it a few more minutes. If you're joining in a little early, this is the Humble Bundle show, talking about the Humble Bundle and Fantasy Grounds and how to synchronize those, how it works, some other facts and tips. So stand by. Hey, folks, this is Founder Laerun. We'll get started here shortly. Just waiting a couple more minutes. You have a ETA about 4 minutes. While you're waiting, I'm putting the descriptions and the links. So after the video, you'll have access to the links and the support pages. So stand by. I'm going to cover a few topics today. So we will go over the Humble Bundle itself. We will check out Fantasy Grounds and how to synchronize your account and how that works and how to claim your content. And then we'll talk about some other things at the end. So hopefully this will help you guys out. And we'll be getting started very soon. All right, folks. This is Founder Laerun, and I am here with Fantasy Grounds Academy. Today, we're going to talk about the gaming bundle for a Humble Bundle. This is something that usually occurs, at least once a year, if not twice. This year, though, it's a little bit unique because you're getting both Fantasy Grounds and the content from the Pathfinder First Edition bundle. This is going to give you access to either content that you own in PDF or don't own, and then you will also be getting the digital content. So there's a few things that you have to keep in mind. One is that this is a charity, so ultimately this money is going to Extra Life for the Fantasy Grounds part, and then there's some really discounted prices. So if you go to the top tier price, which is $50, you're getting everything in this picture or in this video, plus 3 months of an ultimate monthly subscription. So that's the full Monty there. I think normally that's close to probably $20 or so a month. So Fantasy Grounds is actually going the extra mile to get you interested in using the platform. But then you're also getting all these other, these modules and accessories for the first edition of Pathfinder. I think that's a really big deal because if you don't already own this stuff and you're just starting out, this is a really huge cost savings. And then 3 months down the line, you can always cancel your subscription, and you'll still have your content. You just can't update it, and you won't be able to to buy anything else. But if you keep your subscription and you decide you like it, you can either buy the full license or you can actually go into maintaining that subscription. So with the Ultimate Edition, you basically can host anybody. If you need support or help on how to do all that, we have our academy, or you can go to the official Discord for Fantasy Grounds. You can also visit the forums. I'm going to be putting some resources in the links after the video. So a lot of these things I'm talking about, you'll be able to check the links out after the show. So let's get into this. So when you buy a Humble Bundle, normally on the website, you can pay with PayPal or credit cards and that sort of thing. Once you're registered on there, you need to navigate to the current bundle, which is in the games. And in there, you'll find there's 2 Pathfinder bundles. There's one for the 2nd edition, but that one does not include the Fantasy Grounds content. It's actually all the PDFs and I believe of some hardcover stuff like the box set. So that's actually really cool. We'll talk about that a little bit. So if you look at the Pathfinder Beginners Bundle, you're getting quite a bit of stuff here, including Starfinder. You're getting some map packs. I mean, this is a steal. For $50, you're getting all this, plus you're getting some physical stuff. I think the starter box. And this will translate over into Fantasy Grounds. So the box set is the actual physical item, but all these others are PDFs. And if you buy all this and you register it on the store and you claim all your content, the difference between the PDF cost and the Fantasy Grounds cost will be deducted from your store items. So when you go to the Fantasy Grounds store, and if you purchased anything from the Paizo store and you've synchronized your accounts, you're going to get the cost of the PDF minus the cost of the Fantasy Grounds pricing minus the PDF. So that's a pretty good deal in itself. I mean, even if you have a couple of these books already and you want to get your library up to date, you can still get this bundle and then later on go back and get the Fantasy Grounds stuff, because you're still going to get that difference. So as long as you own the PDF, you'll get the difference in the cost. Now, if you've purchased things through the Fantasy Grounds store for 2nd edition and you haven't synchronized your account, when you do that, you can come back to the Paizo store and log into your account, and you can claim the PDFs that, as long as you synchronize and you refresh your your purchases, you can come back and download the PDF copies. So that's a unique partnership between Fantasy Grounds and Smiteworks and the Paizo team. And this also works for Starfinder too. So if you have any Starfinder content, same thing. So this is a normal thing that happens between Fantasy Grounds, Smiteworks, and the Pathfinder and Starfinder rule sets. It's a unique partnership. They have a special API that's linked together, so the account is linked as a partner to one another, and we'll go over that a little bit later. So that's the Pathfinder 2 stuff. So if you're hoping to get a bunch of Pathfinder 2 content, I would advise just getting the bundle for now, even if you don't use it a whole lot. And then later on, as you build your library for Pathfinder 2, you will get, as long as you synchronize, you will get all of the content discounted, that or most of it, and the older stuff anyways. You'll get all this discounted minus the cost of the PDF. So if a book costs $50 on the Fantasy Grounds store, whatever the cost of this PDF is going to be deducted from the price. The thing is you will not see that until you put the item in your cart. So when you go to the Fantasy Grounds store and you're actually going into the store, and if you want to buy one of the Pathfinder books, you won't see any discount on the main page. It will only appear once you click the buy button, and once you do so, and you come down to when the price comes out, it will update this. When you go to your checkout, it will actually have the deduction listed here, but that will not happen unless you synchronize your account. So just keep that in mind. We're going to go over that too, like how to sync your account. But that's normally what the process is you synchronize the store at Fantasy Grounds, and you synchronize the digital store on the actual Paizo website. It doesn't count if you go out and buy a hardback book online, or you buy it at a store. But if you buy all your digital content on the Paizo store, that transfers over to the Fantasy Grounds platform if you don't own the content already. So that's a good deal in itself. So the Humble Bundle is basically, there's three things. You have each separate bundle. So you have this Pathfinder 2, and then you have the Pathfinder First Edition bundle, which is basically a Fantasy Grounds and Paizo partnership. So you're getting not only the PDFs and such, but you're also going to be getting the Fantasy Grounds content. And that is really cool. So generally, when you buy that off the Humble Bundle, you're going to get some serial keys or some kind of registration keys. And what you'll do is you'll come over to the Fantasy Grounds and you'll set up your account with Smiteworks and with Paizo. So if you don't have a Smiteworks account, you have to have that first. So you have to go to their website and actually set up a Fantasy Grounds account. That would be your first step. Then you would go to the Humble Bundle and take a look at, see what's out there and see what you want to get. But you have to make sure that you have both accounts linked together. And there is an Atlassian page, or like a wiki, that tells you how to do it. You got to synchronize Steam if you're using Steam as well. And you have to synchronize and set up your Paizo account. And there's full instructions, including pictures, to show you how to do that. And then there's an activation code that you'll have to put in the first time when you go to your Paizo account. So you can do this in the Fantasy Grounds interface. So if I bring this up, right now I have check for updates. That's because I have some new content that I need to pull in, but I'll do that later. But if you go to the settings in Fantasy Grounds and you actually bring up your account settings, what this is the license key that you have for Fantasy Grounds. So this might be a little confusing at first, because if you are brand new to everything, like you don't have Fantasy Grounds or anything, you're going to get that free license. So what I would say, or the 3 free month usage of it, basically the subscription. So what I would do if I was brand new to everything, if you don't have a Paizo account, you don't have Fantasy Grounds account, and you don't have Humble Bundle account, what I would do is get the Fantasy Grounds Humble Bundle. Okay, that was the first thing I would do. And what that's going to do is give you that license that we're talking about. So you'd get a free Ultimate license for 3 months. It's a subscription base, so you got to remember that. And you're going to get that with the bundle. That in itself is $50. And what you're looking at in this page here is the double bundle, which is a combination of Fantasy Grounds, Pathfinder 1, and then the other bundle is the Pathfinder 2 that I explained earlier. So that's if you want both. You don't have to. They are separate. They're separated. So if you go to games, and then you can go to any of the games that they have for the Humble Bundle. And if you scroll down, you will find the Pathfinder / Fantasy Grounds component. So if you go to Bundles, Games, you'll get to that screen where you have a choice. So you can do it separately. You don't have to buy both. So there's the Pathfinder 1. So just keep that in mind. This is Pathfinder First Edition. The other edition, or the other, is the Pathfinder, basically the second edition, but you're not getting the Fantasy Grounds content from that one. So let's make that clear. A lot of people are confused. They're like, is this for Fantasy Grounds for Pathfinder 2? And like, no, it's for the Fantasy Grounds part of it is only for Pathfinder 1. Okay, the only thing that would transfer to Pathfinder 2 is the fact that you have the Ultimate license. So if you do want to get Pathfinder 2 stuff, you have the platform. And then you can go and get whatever you want for the Pathfinder 2. So for Pathfinder 1, you're going to get all this content, and you're going to get this 3 months free Ultimate subscription. That's like if you buy that outright, that's like around $150. So you're getting that basically leasing it for 3 months to get your mind wrapped around it. Like I said, you can come to the Academy or the official Discord to learn how to use the platform. The main focus here is to actually understand how the bundle works. So you have basically 3 options. You can get the Pathfinder stuff, which is a good deal in itself because you're going to get all those PDFs, and you're going to get the box set for $50. Okay, so that in itself is great. If you synchronize your accounts and you decide you want to buy the Fantasy Grounds versions, you're going to get the discount between the two. Same thing with Pathfinder 1, except for $50, you're getting the Pathfinder 1 content, and you're also getting the 3 months license. So let's make that clear. They're both separate. You can buy them together as a $100, for Pathfinder 1 and 2, or you can buy them as separate bundles. So make sure one is GM edition, the other one's a player edition. Yes, thank you, Bella. So that is basically the difference is one has more GM facing, and then the other is more player facing. So that's what you're getting with the content here. So that's just in a nutshell kind of what's going on. And the partnership that SmiteWorks has with Paizo is phenomenal. I don't think they have a partnership with anyone else at this moment, and I don't see other companies or other platforms doing the same thing. So if you want to argue what platform's better, just this alone is a good deal. I mean, I'm not saying this makes it better, but for me, for price point and for getting in the beginning, this is a really, really good deal. I know it's Christmas time, and there's a lot of people that are strapped for cash, but if you have the extra money, I would definitely get at least one or the other. And if you don't have Fantasy Grounds, this Pathfinder 1 bundle, even if you don't use the Pathfinder part of it, and you're just going to use the license, that alone is worth it. So 3, basically kind of free months for you. I mean, that's, not bad. Plus you're getting all this stuff. All right, so let's rewind. So we're going to do this in steps so you understand what's going on, and then we'll go and explain. But I just want to let you know you got a few options. You have to have a Humble Bundle account, you have to have a Fantasy Grounds SmiteWorks account, and you have to have a account on the Paizo store. Okay, get all that straightened out first. So get all your accounts set up if you don't already. Once you do that, then there is a section on the website for Fantasy Grounds and on the Paizo store that you have to link. So if you need to know how to do that, there is an Atlassian here. And I'm not sure if Bella has the links for this, but basically this is a link that takes you to an example of how this is done. And I was getting into this, so if you go to the interface itself, once you have your Fantasy Grounds username and your password, and if you purchase that Humble Bundle, you can put your license key at this point. Then you would hit log in and save. Once you've done that, then you would update Fantasy Grounds. So I'm going to go back to launching or going back to the settings. And if you go to account, this is where you can go to a direct link that takes you to Steam, so you can synchronize that. So if you're a Steam user, make sure you update and synchronize your Steam account. And then there's a direct link to Paizo. And it tells you how to... These two links kind of give you a shortcut to get to those points. So if you're at the website for Fantasy Grounds, if you come up here to the home page and you're on the very top, you want to make sure you're logged in. So I'm under Laerun, that's my username. And then if you go to the store drop down, you'll notice you can go to the shop. There's bundles, Fantasy Grounds bundles. There's art subscription, the Forge, and some personalized suggestions. What you want to do is, if you miss your key, if you don't know where your key is and you purchased it and you bought it through Fantasy Grounds, that's where you go is your order history to find that. Also, if you're given keys through the Humble Bundle, like if you buy the Pathfinder 2 stuff and you want to activate those, you can click on Activate a Product Key, you put in that key, it adds it to your store, which is based on you being logged in. And then you would update Fantasy Grounds to pull that content in, and then you would start a new campaign. And we'll cover that soon. So Paizo account synchronization is a separate page. It's its own little API here. Once you're here and you've logged in and you have your account set up at the Paizo store and you have your account set up here in Fantasy Grounds, you click Retrieve Paizo Purchases, and it will go to the website and pull everything that you own, if anything. So it'll do all this automatically for you. If you have things that you've purchased on that store and you want to be able to enable PDF access, then you send your purchase information to Paizo. So if you bought the main book in Fantasy Grounds and you still want the PDF is free to you at that point because you've already purchased the entire thing. You purchased the Fantasy Grounds copy and the PDF copy together. So if you go to send purchase info to Paizo, and now the Fantasy Grounds store is going to send that information over to Paizo. So when you access your account on Paizo, you're going to be able to download the PDFs. And you would have to have an account there first. So it's actually sending that data over, and it says, what it's showing what I own already. So it's going through and taking all my stuff and telling the store on the Paizo store that I already have this stuff for Fantasy Grounds. Give me the PDF. So that's basically what that does. So that's how you claim and synchronize your account. Whenever you make a new purchase, or you add another Humble Bundle to under your belt or anything like that, or even on the Steam store, you want to refresh your accounts. So I think people forget to do that, or a year from now you might forget. But you go to the store, go to Paizo Account Sync or Steam. That is where you do it, and you refresh that every time you buy something new from a third party. And then, if you are a Steam user, same thing. If you buy a bunch of new content on Steam, you come to the Steam account synchronization. Once you have the accounts linked together, you click Refresh Steam Purchases, and it will pull that data over, provided the websites aren't down, and you will get your content added to your account. Sometimes when you buy stuff on the Fantasy Grounds store, and you refresh with Steam, it won't show up on Steam right away, so don't panic. As long as you have Fantasy Grounds and you can log into it, you'll have the Fantasy Grounds content. The only thing is it may not show up on the Steam store right away until the keys are sent over. So just be aware of that. So that is basically the account side of things. But back to the Humble bundles, you can buy the Pathfinder 1 and all the free 3 months worth of subscription or the included, and that's all for $50. You don't have to do $50 if you just want to do 40 or whatever. Then the bundle gets a little smaller. You have filters here on the right and you have filters on the left. So if you just want 9 items or 17 items, I think the minimum is the $17 level to get fantasy. No, so if you just want the Fantasy Grounds thing, you can do that. Just 1 item, and you're going to pay $1 for that. I mean, that's pretty cheap. If you go to 9 items, obviously you're going to get some of the core books. So that you don't have to pay $50 outright. And then with the other bundle, the Pathfinder Bundle, that is the Pathfinder 2 bundle. That's a good deal because you're getting that box set and you're also getting all these PDFs. And like I had explained before, these are all for charity. So this one goes to Tabletop for Gamers. It's more of like an inclusion type of charity donation. And when you get all this stuff in PDF format, and if you synchronize your accounts, like I said before, you're going to get the discount between the item cost of the Fantasy Grounds store minus the PDF. So you might take off $15 or $20 for one of these main core rule books if you already own the PDF. So that's the biggest deal, and you don't have a time limit on that. So if you buy the bundle now and then later in the year you want to buy some more Pathfinder for Fantasy Grounds, you can do that. That discount stays. It doesn't go away. The Humble Bundle is temporary. You have until the 1st to get these advantage of both of these bundles. So you have till January 1st. I don't know the exact cutoff hour, but if you get the Pathfinder 1 or Pathfinder 1st Edition and Fantasy Grounds or this PDF bundle, you have until January 1st. You don't have to get it today. You can wait till after Christmas. Maybe you're going to get some gift cards, whatever. But just keep in mind that you have to have those accounts set up. So set up your Fantasy Grounds ID first. Set up your Paizo store if you don't already have it. And then set up your Steam account if that's the method you're going through. And just remember that Fantasy Grounds has a return policy of 30 days. So if you get that, the 3-month subscription and you cancel it, it will literally cancel it right away. So don't buy it and then worry about forgetting about it in 3 months. But make yourself a reminder to cancel it if that's what you intend to do. But if you cancel it the day after you buy it, you're canceling your subscription. So keep the subscription, and it'll tell you in PayPal, there's a little warning that'll say, if you cancel now, you're going to cancel forever, basically. So keep that in mind if you're worried about being charged in the future and you forget about those things. Set yourself a reminder in your calendar or something so that, if you have to, basically cancel, hope you wouldn't, but, if you have to, you have to. But just keep that in mind. A lot of people think that if you subscribe and then you hurry up and cancel, that you're not going to be charged again. But if you do that with the Fantasy Grounds, you're going to lose your subscription. So don't do that. Keep the 30 days. Actually cancel it after 30 days. But you can get your money back. I don't know how it works with the bundle, but you'll at least get 1 month of usage back. And I think that when you do this on Steam, it's not the same. So if you buy everything through Steam, they have like a 1 hour return policy. So if you are in the United States and you have an account with Fantasy Grounds, it's often better to go through that. I think the only exception would be if you already have content or you have a gift card on Steam, then that would be probably a good use of that. But if you are outside of the United States, definitely Steam is the way to go. I don't know how the accounts link through Steam, because I know that Steam doesn't have the same agreement with Paizo and Fantasy Grounds. However, the discounts might transfer over once you synchronize everything. So just keep that in mind. So that's something kind of important. So she says you can get the entire cost of the PDF purchased from the store of your order as a discount. To do so, you have to visit the store, the Paizo account, sync menu option. Yeah, so she's just giving you the actual list. And I think, Belle, I'm going to next time we do this, I'm going to give you more admin privileges or moderator privileges. But that is basically how that works. So once you've done that, once you buy the bundle, you hold off. You can put in your license key if you buy the Pathfinder 1 bundle, and you get the free 3 months for Ultimate. Put that key in, and then you update Fantasy Grounds. Okay, so you're going to put your Fantasy Grounds credentials in here, your Fantasy Grounds account name and your password. And then you're going to put your key in that you're going to get from your bundle. You're going to hit login and then save. Once you do that, then click on account and link your Paizo account to the Fantasy Grounds store. Once you do that, then you're going to update Fantasy Grounds. So if I save this and I click on update, now it's going to pull in my purchases. So I'm doing this live right now so you can see what it looks like. So I do have a few Pathfinder 2 products that I picked up. So it should pull those in if I did everything correctly, if I have all my ducks in a row. So it's going to look to see what I own, and it will pull in any purchases that are necessary. There it is. So I got a few new books, so it's pulling in those serial keys that I put in, and it's downloading that content to my account. And it's going to be basically delivered to me through the Fantasy Grounds interface. Not the PDFs, but the digital copy. The PDFs you have to get on the Paizo store. I had some people asking about that. Where's the PDFs? Where's the PDFs? Well, it's not exactly the same thing. You don't get the PDF through Fantasy Grounds. You get it actually from the Paizo store as a separate download. And that is reliant on your partnership account sync between the two stores. So once you've done the updates, so after you got everything purchased, you've claimed all your license keys, you've put everything in, then you update Fantasy Grounds. It'll pull in all of your stuff. The initial part is getting the license key in, then updating Fantasy Grounds, and then synchronize all your stuff, and then pull in all your data. If you try to do that all at once, it can get a little confusing. So just be careful of that. So I'm going to hit Launch Fantasy Grounds, and once I've done that, I'm going to be in the Fantasy Grounds interface. I'm going to create a new campaign, and I'm just going to call the campaign PF2 for Pathfinder 2, because that's what I'm going to look at. And then I'm going to put Humble Bundle as the name of this campaign, even though it's not really a game or anything. I'm just using that. And then I'm going to select the Pathfinder 2 rule set, because that's what I want to look at. I'm going to make this a private server. I don't want anyone logging in. I don't want to load any extensions at this point, and I'm going to hit start. So while that's loading, you can take questions. Belle's in the chat. So that's basically how that's done. And like I said, after the show, I put together some links that are going to be in the description of the video. So after the video is posted, all this descriptions directly to the content that I was discussing will be there. Also, some other additional information, some stuff about the Academy, going straight to the Fantasy Grounds store. And there's one thing I want to really push on you guys as far as Fantasy Grounds goes, is there is a help desk, a service desk for the portal. So if you are having problems, there is a place to go, and that is customer support. So there's a technical support, There's one for licensing and such. And if you are a content creator, there's one for the Forge. You have all these links here. And then if you want a refund inquiry, that's down here at the very bottom. But they have to be done within 30 days of the original purchase. So if you come out 32 days later and ask for a refund, that it may be difficult to do. If there's anything you would like improved or added or taken away or anything like that, there's the idea informer. So if you want to suggest something, you can do that there. Instead of ranting about it or posting it on Reddit or something like that, it's better if you just do your requests in the idea informer, or if you actually use the Fantasy Grounds website. I don't know how many people have gone to Reddit to rant and post their problems there, when really it's not going to be seen, but mostly by other users. So if you have a big problem with Fantasy Grounds, register with the website, go to the forums. There are several places in the forums where you can look for information. You go to the House of Healing, you have one that deals with Unity, one that deals with Classic, one that deals with the Forge. Those are where you would post those problems. And if you want information about the platform itself, there is a Pathfinder role-playing game section. So if you click on that, there's Pathfinder 1 and Pathfinder 2. So there is support. And if you want to go to the Discord, there is a official Discord for Fantasy Grounds. And if you want help learning how to use it and getting the ropes, or if you want to help out with the rule set, we have the Academy as well. So I'm part of a community that is basically all volunteer, and we have a pretty solid group of people that would be willing to kind of walk you through some of the Fantasy Grounds stuff. So if you are brand new to everything, the rules, the platform, all that stuff, this Humble Bundle will probably benefit you the most because you don't have any content or you just have barely any. If you're somebody that's a collector like myself, sometimes these bundles aren't quite going to help me that much because I own probably half of the stuff, or if not more. But I don't mind doing this because I give to the charity. So for Pathfinder 2, I'm really going to be giving a portion of it to charity, and that's what this is about. So remember that. It's not a big money grab. It's not supposed to be convoluted and stressful and that sort of thing. If you follow the steps, you register at the website, you register with the Humble Bundle, and you get your license keys and such, plug all that stuff in, refresh your accounts and update it, and then download it through Fantasy Grounds, it should work out pretty good for you. I think there's a lot of steps involved and people get kind of confused. So if you don't have Fantasy Grounds, you want to go to get the Pathfinder 1 or first edition bundle, which is going to include the license. Even if you don't use all the other content and you only use the license, you could do that. You can filter this out to $1 and you're going to get the 3-month subscription. And then if you want to use the other bundle, which is the books, the PDFs, you can use that and go to this other deal, and you can select what level you want. So if you go to the $5 level, you're only going to get a few books, but it's the main books, or some of the main books. I think the $15 one is probably close. Yeah, this would give you, the player's guide and that sort of thing. So that's not bad. So you have different levels, but depending on what you have. Now you have some Pathfinder Society stuff mixed in here too, which is really cool. If you choose $60, you're going to get this box. Let me look at the other. So if you want all 32, you have to pay at least $50. So that's the $60 is if you want to add a little bit more to the charity. So just remember, this is all for charity. This is not a big money grab. Like I said, most of the bundles are $50 each. And if you want the double bundle, which is both, that's $100 for both of those. So that alone is worth it. It's Christmas time. If you need the cash, the money, I understand it's kind of tight right now, but if you can afford it, I would definitely do it. And it's a good deal. So I'm in my own personal account, and if I go to the Paizo store, and you go to My Account, and you go to your account settings, that's where you set up your Paizo store. And then if you have any digital content, you would sign into that account and you would be able to claim it, and you can download it from here. And you click refresh downloads when you first come here, especially if you already have content. And then you can download your PDFs from here. And you have filters here on the left. I have things that I haven't even downloaded yet. I mean, never. So I have Starfinder things I haven't even looked at yet. But there is your PDFs is basically what you get. And the reason I have so many, because I've actually taken advantage of the Humble Bundle. Even if I don't use the stuff, I've taken advantage of it. But I have just about everything out as far as Pathfinder 1 goes. I don't have everything there is, but there's quite a bit of stuff in here that I've, over the last few years, that I've benefited from. So that's quite a library. If I downloaded all this, it'd probably be a few gigabytes worth of PDFs. So take advantage of the Humble Bundle. This doesn't come around all the time. I've never seen a double one where you get Pathfinder 1, Pathfinder 2, and Fantasy Grounds. So, I mean, that's awesome. So I don't know how else to explain it to you other than it's a pretty good deal. So let's see, what else do we have? So now that I'm in Fantasy Grounds, this is a new campaign. This is for Pathfinder 2. So the campaign setup is basically where you would load your content. So I'm going to click Show on Load and just hit Next. And then I can load the core books. So this would be the button I'm going to pick just to load just the basic core rules for Pathfinder. Takes it about a minute or less to pull all that in and load. So it's already downloaded, but what I'm doing now is activating the content. So quite often, if you're new to this and you've never used the interface, you'd be a little bit new to this. So that's why I'm showing this part. So if you're someone who already knows about Fantasy Grounds, happy holidays, everybody. I hope to see you around. And if you're interested in learning about Fantasy Grounds, come on over to the Academy, or you can go on YouTube and look at videos. There's plenty of content out there. Not a lot of Pathfinder content, but there's some out there if you really know where to look. But there's generally quite a bit of stuff to get you started on how to get the game set up and all that good stuff. So that's your next challenge. So once you buy all this content, then you got to figure out how to use it. So that's just something that takes time, patience, and a little bit of putting in your work to get into the hobby. So no easy button. You have to actually do some reading, do some looking, and taking some time to put into it. So that's basically what I'm doing now is I'm loading the content. So it's saying here I don't have the 3rd edition bestiary. Well, had I got the entire Humble Bundle, I probably would have had that. So if I hit Next, this is where the options are, and I'll hit Finish, and then I'll close this. So that loads the books in my library, which is here. So I have all the core stuff except for the 3rd bestiary. If I wanted any other modules, I could pull that up and click Modules, and anything else that goes with Pathfinder 2 or that's universal to the rule set, I can do that. So this is all things that I could add that are extra or on top of the library that I have. And I do have a few things. So I have Doomsday at Dawn. I have the Dinner at the Lion Lodge. So I got a few modules, and then I have some community content also. So that's basically how you would do that. So if you wanted to load another book or just one book, or you wanted to go and have some sort of usage on something. So if I wanted this one shot here, I can load that. Click load. It's going to pull that in and adds it to your library. And then you have access to it. If you want to read the content that you just got, you can click the reference manual, brings up this reference manual book, and here is the adventure, and you can just read through here. There's some arrows that you can scroll through to get to each page. You can search for things. So this is the actual content. This is your equivalent of a PDF, or you can just use your PDF copies to read on your tablet or on your computer. So you got a couple options there. But basically, that's what you're getting when you get the Humble Bundle. Is you're basically setting up your accounts, updating Fantasy Grounds, synchronizing your data, putting in your registration keys. So I'll show that again. So if you go to Fantasy Grounds, go to the store drop down, and you have activate a product key. If you get product keys from the store, you can activate those here, and that will give you your content, and it will give you a message that says this is now added to your store, to your library, and then you update Fantasy Grounds. So that's the steps basically. The important thing is, despite the value, that yes, exactly. So just remember, folks, when you start getting all mad and weird about it, I mean, $50 for the charity isn't that big of a thing, but getting into the actual Fantasy Grounds platform, this is a really good way to start off, especially if you're a Paizo fan. This works for Starfinder too. If you have Starfinder content and you hit that update button on the Fantasy Grounds and you synchronize your account, you're also going to get the discounts for that. So it's a really good partnership between Fantasy Grounds, SmiteWorks, and the Paizo company. So I don't know any other place that does this, not like this. So if you wanted to buy Pathfinder 2 stuff, you come over here to the store, click on Pathfinder. It brings you to a page where you can actually purchase the content. So right now there's a sale on a couple of the items. So you have the Lost Omens Legends sale. I already own it, so it doesn't benefit me. But if I add it to my cart, since I do own it and I've synchronized it, if I click on buy, it's going to add it to this account here. And if I go to checkout, it's going to show me my discount here. That's quite a discount. So the total would have been $54. But if I was to buy these again, the actual discount is $26 off. So that's $28, and I'm paying for those 2 books. So that's why the Pathfinder 2 bundle isn't that bad, because you're going to get the total cost of the PDF subtracted from this main cost. And there's some things that are on sale, so that also adds up. So if you're going to buy piecemeal and just individual product, this is the way to go. I mean, you can buy the Humble Bundle and then later on buy these individual pieces that you need for your library. And then when you do that, you're going to save that difference. So you're not going to pay this full price of something if you already own the content. So I think I already have this Mwangi Expanse, or I did have something like that. I think it's the Lost Omen thing I had. But that basically is so... It's a deal. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't do it. It doesn't make... I mean, obviously, if you're broke and you have Christmas stuff and bills, I understand that. But if you're just starting off with Fantasy Grounds, this is the way to go. I mean, I would honestly wait until these come around. And also, the Fantasy Grounds website for SmiteWorks, they have big sales every week, and they have a big sale. We just got through the autumn sale. Every 6 months or so, there's some kind of big sale. And there's even like Christmas sales and Father's Day sales. I mean, there's so many different times a year. So if you want to brush up on your library later, you can. Just get the Humble Bundle. Most of that's going to charity. You can break that down. You can take and basically adjust your donation. There's a default. You can do the extra to charity or a custom amount. So there's just so much stuff, so many options for you. And if you're new to virtual tabletop, this is definitely the way to go, because you're getting a lot for basically nothing. You're getting $50 for each bundle, or you can buy both for $100. I mean, come on, man, that's crazy. And you're getting a physical box shipped to you, provided you give them your address. And then you're getting all the discounts from Fantasy Grounds. And if you buy the other bundle, you're getting Fantasy Grounds for 3 months, plus a majority of the Pathfinder 1 main content for that rule set. So if you're a Paizo, Pathfinder, Starfinder fan, this is what you want to do. Children's Miracle Networks raised, let's see, funds and awareness for 170 member hospital. Yeah, see, that can't beat that, because that's basically what... Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see. So just remember, this is a charity thing. This is not a money grab or some kind of scam or anything. $50 is well worth the investment. I keep saying 50, but you don't have to buy the. Yeah, I like ranting at Reddit. Yeah, so buying the content is kind of tertiary. The main thing is the charity. You're donating. You're getting something in return for it. I don't think Smiteworks and Paizo make a bunch of money off it, so it's really going to the charity mostly. I mean, that's what you're buying this for, is for charity. That's what Humble Bundle is all about. But it also gives collectors and people that want to get started a good stepping stone to do so. So hopefully this helped you guys. I mean, I went through the steps, so I'm going to recap and then I'm going to call it a day. So the first things first is you will go to Humble Bundle. If you don't own Fantasy Grounds content already, go to the software part and just get the Fantasy Grounds part of it. So you go to games under the bundles, and you go to the Fantasy Grounds. It's kind of pay what you want. You can get 3 months of the license for $1. I mean, you can't beat that. Or you can get the entire bundle. Once you do that, then you plug in your license, you set up your accounts with Fantasy Grounds, you go to the website, you make sure that you have everything, download the client, install it. Once you have it installed, you put in your license key, then you update Fantasy Grounds. Once you do that, you synchronize your accounts on the Fantasy Grounds store. So if you go to the store, go to Paizo account sync, retrieve all your purchases from Paizo.com, and then you will update Fantasy Grounds. If you purchased anything, it'll pull all that stuff in automatically, and then you set up a new campaign, load the modules, and there you go. So that's basically the broad stroke overview. If you miss something, go back to the beginning and read, or you can go to the links that I'm going to provide at the end of the show. So that is basically how this works. So hopefully this helps you. I hope you have a good weekend. Happy holidays, and we'll see you around.